What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal, the YWC Reality Check Spaz Phoenix, and I'm here to talk about Payback. A couple days late. I know, it's like Tuesday in the afternoon. I got a day off work. It's good like that. Lots and lots and lots of people are... Daniel Bryan wasn't on the show, so it sucked, even though he was on the show. Daniel Bryan's not getting his ass kicked. Daniel Bryan's not getting the #1 podium spot, even though he can't do anything right now, so the show sucked. And the #1 sheep in the YWC is, yes, Deluxe-Man. So this and my review of Raw are dedicated to you, buddy. Because I used to pick on people in the YWC for shit like that. I used to pick on Preston for his stuff with Rey Mysterio and how if Rey Mysterio was there, and it wasn't nearly as bad as this. I used to shit on Ashton, and I still do. His whole thing a couple years ago, I'm not going to put a single Raw in the win column until they debut Dean Ambrose. And sufficiently with John, too, you know, until they find a way to hire Morrison back, everything sucks, da-da-da-da. And we laughed at them, didn't we, Alex? Oh, yes, we did. We laughed at them because it was so narrow-minded, and it was so self-centered and self-involved. But you, sir, have become the most self-involved, self-important, pompous, narrow-minded person in the YWC. There's no Daniel Bryan, so I'm gonna find anything I can to complain about. So, this and my Raw review are specifically dedicated to Deluxe-Man, henceforth known as Deluxe-Mark. Oh, yes, let's talk about the pre-show. The pre-show was Hornswoggle versus El Torito, which is still, in ring-wise, better than you would expect from two midgets or little people. It's amusing. It's for fun. It is what it is. But let's think about some other things. Let's think about some other positive things that are going on with this rivalry. You've got, even though they've got dumb gimmicks right now, you've got Mahal, Slater, McIntyre, the Matadors. All 5 of them are really, really talented guys saddled with shitty gimmicks. So if it wasn't for this, they wouldn't be getting any exposure. And every match that El Torito and Hornswoggle have had has led to, as we will see on Raw, another match between these two tag teams. I mean, it's a little unbalanced because there's a numbers advantage on the heel side, obviously, but a numbers advantage on the heel side works. See Evolution, see the Wyatt family, see D-Generation X, Nation of Domination, NWO. Now, I'm not comparing 3MB to NWO, obviously, but the complaint that, oh, this is a shitty rivalry because 3MB always has the main advantage, they're heels. Doesn't that make the babyfaces fight harder? Doesn't that give you an underdog story like Bryan? Anyway, but other things. People that don't like the feud say, oh, this doesn't deserve to be on pay-per-view. It's not. It's on the pre-show. You can find it on YouTube. Anybody can find it for free. The other thing is, people are so worried that we will get more situations like Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus a couple years ago or something that will be bumped to the pre-show. As long as this stuff is filling up the pre-show, any matches that actually exist on the card, not matches that you fantasy book and wish would happen, but matches that are actually on the card will stay on the card. So before you go and say, oh, it's midgets, it must be funny, it must suck, then take a look at the good that it's doing. And you said, sir, that it was more disrespectful that they didn't have the midget commentators and midget announcers and all that thing. So what you're saying is the match that mocked them less and let them actually just go in there as wrestlers and do their match was less respectful? I can't. I absolutely can't, because this match was fun. This match showed, whether you agree, whether you think it's a good idea or not, that these guys are wrestlers that can hang with bigger wrestlers. They can hang with so-and-so and so-and-so. It's a Rey Mysterio Big Show type scenario. Or it's like back in the day when the women were allowed to fight the men and you had some spunky upstart diva that wanted to prove herself against the men, like Beth Phoenix, like Chyna, like Karma, etc., etc., etc. So, you might not like it, you might not think they deserve it, but to have them go and interact with actual real, I don't want to say normal or full size because that sounds judgmental, but to have them interact with other stars on the roster is kind of cool. And I think it would be really, really judgmental, and it would border on their bullying policy or whatever if they made them lose just because they were small, or if they made fun of them constantly just because they were small. Before this, Hornswoggle was a joke because he was small. Yeah, and he was comedy then like he's comedy now, but this has a lot less of a I don't know, it's got more of a PC, less of a bullying angle to it, because you've got somebody his own, you know, there's the quintessential cliche, go pick on somebody your own size. So they brought in somebody his own size, and they are letting this character who has done nothing in the WWE for, what, 10 years? They're actually giving him something to do. Most of us would have said, in the long run, why does this guy still have a career? Oh, X, Y, and Z wrestler just got fired, but Hornswoggle's still on the roster. What the fuck sense does that make? What does he do? Now they've given him something to do. You're upset because they've taken your argument away. That's what it is. This match was kind of cool. It's not going to steal the show, obviously, but Hornswoggle lost. He got his head shaved. It was funny, you know, shaving his head and then putting the shaving cream on it was kind of, but it was comedy. It's not meant to be taken seriously. It's not meant to be a 5-star classic, but not every match is. Sheamus defeated Cesaro. Now, I know, you guys are going, oh, you're being a hypocrite because you don't like Sheamus and you don't like Cena and da-da-da-da-da. I don't like Sheamus. I really, really don't. I don't think he ever needs to hold gold again. That's my personal opinion, guys. I'm not going to come out here and state it as fact, like some people will. But it is my personal opinion that Sheamus doesn't need a belt. He was hot-shotted to the world title, to the WWE title, and never really recovered from how wrong that was. But this is the kind of match where Sheamus does, in fact, shine. And he's got somebody like Cesaro to bounce off of, so it's great. You got Heyman there. He's fantastic. You got these two guys in there having the, you know, European style of a brawl. These guys went at it like two Mack trucks. Now, was it a little bit lame that Sheamus won it with a small package? But yes, but it does make Cesaro look good, because as Paul Heyman would mention the next night on Raw, these two big tough guys went in there to brawl. Sheamus realized he couldn't outbrawl Cesaro, so he had to pull out a somewhat sneaky win. It's not exactly a babyface move to all of a sudden like sneak into a roll-up out of nowhere, is it? So there's a lot of credence to, okay, maybe Sheamus is having a heel turn. There's a little bit of credence to, oh, Cesaro, this guy that we're all big and hot on now, which I agree with, might have gotten robbed a little. And it gives a guy like Paul Heyman an out, because even though his guy lost the match, he can play it up as he did on Raw. This was supposed to be a brawl. This was supposed to be this and that. And he wins with a roll-up? What kind of brawler is Sheamus? And he doesn't necessarily get to take away the win, but he gets to take away Sheamus's toughness. He gets to pick away at that Belfast brawler, what do you call it? That persona that Sheamus brought in of this big, you know, barroom brawler that could, you know, kick your head off. He didn't kick his head off. He got one little lucky moment and rolled up Cesaro, and that one sneaky moment got him the victory. So yes, it robs Cesaro in the short term, but it will show a trail of maybe a little bit of struggle, maybe a little bit of stumble. It lays credence to Paul Heyman nurturing this new talent. Paul Heyman's only been able to have his brilliance set upon this guy for 2 months now. Maybe it's not 100% there yet. Maybe he hasn't passed on everything that he knows to Cesaro yet. Maybe people used to say about Ric Flair and Triple H. Ric Flair taught Triple H everything that Triple H knows, but he didn't teach him everything Ric Flair knows. Take that, apply it to Paul Heyman. Maybe Paul Heyman hasn't had enough time with Cesaro. You hear Paul Heyman at the side. You need to breathe. You need to take away his breath. This is what we talked about. This is what we planned for. So if he's still shouting those things to him in there, he doesn't shout those things to Brock Lesnar, not in the same way at least. He'll shout to Brock Lesnar, hey, you got a 2, next will be 3, but he doesn't shout him instructions as much. He didn't have to do that with CM Punk because they were established main event guys. They're playing credence to the fact that Cesaro is not a main event guy yet. Now, do we believe that talent-wise he should be? Absolutely. But it's showing a story of growth. It's showing a story of you don't go from tag team jobber to main event in one day. It's a long story, and all of us being fans of Cesaro are good about it. So for this reason, for the short term, even though I don't like a W in the Sheamus column, this made sense. And it allows us, even though he's a heel we get behind. It allows us more opportunity to get behind Cesaro so that when he does pick up a title, it means more. Is that so hard to grasp? Really? Next, Rusev and Big E. Here's another thing that you guys are going to come back to me and say, oh, this is just big guy versus big guy. You're going to hate it, aren't you, Spaz? And I'm like, you know what? Honestly, I don't have much to say about Rusev or Big E. Big E got a title, much to my previous point about Cesaro. Big E came in WWE and they handed him a title right away. Now, was that cool because he was also associated with some main eventers like AJ Lee and Dolph Ziggler? Sure. But you hotshot somebody like that and they don't have a chance to prove themselves. Now he's got a chance to prove himself. Sure, he's pulling the whole hacksaw Jim Duggan, I'm going to walk down with Old Glory over my shoulder and that's going to make people cheer for me. Do I think he needs that? Absolutely not. But he's doing it right now because you got Rusev, which is the quintessential un-American gimmick. And the story typically would go that, I've lost my place. The story would typically go that the big American hero comes down and squashes the foreigner. And Big E, for all the, okay, he's just a little, you know, jacked up spark plug of a guy, I will say that the big ending is a cool move, and I will say that that spear, tackle, suicide dive thing that he does from the ring, through the ropes, through the other person to the outside, do look phenomenal for a guy of his style, body type, whatever you want to say. Good match. And Rusev, I said this during the pay-per-view last night to a couple people on Puitov and a couple people on the Breakers. I think them bringing in Rusev is working the way that they thought the Great Khali would work many, many years ago. You got a big foreign guy that you can't understand, but you know when he shows up he's going to destroy shit. It failed with Khali. I think it's working with Rusev, not only because he's better in the ring and not fucking broken like the Great Khali, but because NXT is a thing. Yeah, he's new to the WWE and he's invading, but anybody that paid attention to NXT already knows what he can do, so that invasion is more impactful. Rusev gets the win. Big E looked great in the match. He still gets to look like the guy that went down swinging for his country, which, again, is a bit cliche, but WWE is an American company. That's how it's going to be. This is something that has always bugged me about YWC members and commentators and shooters from the UK. See Mark Pearson, for example. Every time there's a reference to anything American, they're like, I don't care, I'm not American. Well, I'm sure if you watch a bunch of shit rests like you do, there's not very many American references because it's in the UK. The company is based in the United States. The pay-per-view is happening in the United States in front of an audience that is from the United States. So if you make some reference to what's going on in, like, you know, Stoke-on-Cunt, UK, nobody's gonna care that's in that arena. And the arena and the audience make the experience, even if you're watching it on TV. So yes, they're going to pander to the American fans. They pander to the Canadian fans when they come up here. They pander like fuck if they're anywhere overseas. Oh yes, yes they do. So I have no problem with Big E coming in and filling in, you know, Hacksaw Jim Duggan's shoes, and if he had just raised up the flag and went, ho, I would have marked. I thought that would have been absolutely perfect for the cliche that he's filling in. No problem with this match whatsoever. Kofi Kingston versus Bo Dallas didn't happen, and I'm okay with that because Kofi Kingston is... Kofi Kingston went online, and storyline-wise, obviously, but he talked shit about his boss. So his boss sent out, you know, the big muscle. It's the same as if you're at a club or a bar and you start telling off the owner of the bar or the bartender or the bar manager or the kitchen staff or whatever. What are they going to do? They're going to call the bouncer. So, in turn, he was disrespectful to his boss. She brought out her big muscle. Kane came out and destroyed him. Fan-fucking-tastic. It makes Kane at least slightly relevant. It contributes to the whole Daniel Bryan versus the Authority storyline because it's like, look, Daniel Bryan, you're not the only one. You're not special. Anybody that pisses off the Authority gets this kind of treatment. Not just you. You're not special. You're not a victim. Go heel. Come back when your neck isn't a slinky. Moving on. But Bo Dallas, who I'm quickly turning around on because I didn't know how he was going to do on the main roster, I'm not going to lie. His character being a mockery of John Cena's character is becoming more and more solid every day, and I love it. But he comes out, they never had the match, obviously, so there's no win, there's no loss. But he says, Kofi, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You'll shake this off. You'll come back bigger and better than ever. All you have to do is believe. Oh yes. Oh yes. It's good. It's good times. Bad News Barrett defeated Rob Van Dam in a match that even I thought was going to suck. I really did. I really, really did think this match was going to suck, because RVD is on the part-time schedule, first of all. He's never going to hold a title again, so the ending was kind of predictable. And he's a lot slower than he used to be. He's kind of suffering from Rey Mysterio syndrome. But the match was good, the match was fast-paced, and Wade Barrett got all his stuff in, as they say. He clobbered Rob Van Dam, which is great. Like I say, that was a bit predictable, but what I liked is he kept trying for the bullhammer. It really, really reinforces that the bullhammer finishing move, the bullhammer elbow, is kind of getting that RKO treatment, where it's like, oh, it's unpredictable, it can come out of nowhere, you never know when you're gonna get hit with the bullhammer, do you? He kept on trying for that because he knows that that's his bread and butter. He can do the Winds of Change, he can do the Wasteland, and both of those have been relegated to setup moves, which they should be, because the Wasteland, as effective as it is from a guy of Wade Barrett's size, is not on its own an impressive move. It's just a front slam, similar with the Winds of Change, which is basically something that he modified from Abyss in TNA, but TNA doesn't exist. We'll leave it over in the corner over there. The bullhammer is kind of neat, because you've got already a precedent set with the Big Show that he can win a match with one punch. Now, would you rather get hit with a punch, which is a bunch of individual, you know, muscles and tendons and little bones or whatever, or would you rather feel this? Like, and I'm not even saying this to be arrogant, and I know you guys already know this, but I want to make my point. Feel this right here. That is going to do more damage than that. So if the Big Show can win the match with a punch, because obviously he's a giant and that's what giants do, but you get a guy the size of Barrett, who's not small either, with all his force and all his weight behind it, the bullhammer should be breaking faces. But we can't have blood in the PG era. But it's funny, and I shouldn't say funny, it's fantastic that he knows that that move is his bread and butter, and he kept going for it. And what I liked about this match was the second last time he tried the bullhammer, and he cracked it up against the post. And I thought, for a split second, WWE was going to give us happy ending booking and let RVD capitalize on the broken arm or whatever. Because, I mean, with enough force, that hitting the post could also, like, fuck up your arm. But Wade Barrett proved his toughness and that, you know, bare-knuckle, brawler, grit, whatever you want to call it. Because even with, like, fucking up his arm against the post, he still managed to pull out that known weapon one more time and take out RVD and keep the belt that he deserves. This is a belt that he's held 4 times. This is the first time it's actually felt relevant and felt like it's a part of him. I love it. He's got the friggin' cape now in his entrance that he throws off, and he's got pyro, and, you know, it's not a big thing, but pyro is one of those signs that WWE is actually investing in you. He's got a cool entrance now. He's got a character now. He's got a character that I believe when he wins, and it's fine. And this match made me even more okay with Sheamus keeping his US title, because if these guys have a match to unify the titles, I will be a happy kid. Throw in Cesaro, it'll be great. RVD, you can go hit the bench. You've done your job, and you've done your job quite well, but you can have Cesaro, Sheamus, Barrett, triple threat to unify the 2 titles into 1 title, put it on Cesaro, everybody goes home happy, or take one of the heels, turn them face, and you have a Cesaro versus Bad News Barrett feud that doesn't bore anybody because it doesn't have Sheamus in it. There's nothing but win here. Nothing but win. Absolutely. Like I say, Sheamus, Cesaro, I didn't like the ending, doesn't take away from the fact that it's a phenomenal match, and that's a thing that a lot of people do not seem to grasp about this pay-per-view. Daniel Bryan's segment with Stephanie McMahon, which I have redubbed Brie and Stephanie fight, and Daniel Bryan sits in the back and B's useless. Brie Bella comes out and says that I'm not going to let you, basically says I'm not going to let you use me to push my husband around, you're not going to have power over us, you can't fire me, I quit, and slaps the living taste out of Stephanie's mouth. Now this is funny because you see all kinds of people that have screenshotted when Stephanie McMahon is running away to the back. And there's a dark spot on her dress, and people are saying that when Brie slapped her that Stephanie actually pissed herself, which is funny, I guess, and if it's true, then wow, that's unfortunate. But the thing is, oh, this is all big story building, this shows how tough Daniel Bryan is. In reality, this does no good for anybody. I was starting to like Brie Bella in the ring. I mean, I'm assuming she's going to come back later on down the line at some point. But for right now, Brie Bella's gone, who's great in the ring. Daniel Bryan is still around, who can't do anything for another couple of months, which means if he holds on to the championship, which, again, I'm going to be addressing more in the Raw review, because we found out more about that on Raw, but looking at this segment, as far as this segment goes, Daniel Bryan kept his championship, so what it's meant is there's no fighting champ, and I'm not trying to steal words from Stephanie McMahon, I'm using this from the literal sense. title is on Daniel Bryan, who can't fight, so what? We're going to have no title matches for the next 4 months? That's fucking ridiculous. Oh, we have to protect Daniel Bryan. Who do we usually say that about? We usually are protecting who? Cena? I mean, if this story had been reversed, and John Cena had been the champion, and they had done the same thing with Nikki Bella, everybody on the internet would be like, why the fuck are we protecting John Cena so much if he can't fight? I'm just applying that exact same logic to be fair to Daniel Bryan, even though he's an internet darling, he's the flavor of the week or the month. Doesn't change the fact that the logic is flawed on its face. And in the meantime, you got Brie Bella, sorry, trying to get the twin magic. We got Brie Bella, who's going to go sit at home for a couple months for the sake of the storyline, when she is in perfectly good shape to come and wrestle in the Divas division. Oh yes, please, once more, tell me that Daniel Bryan is not getting the John Cena treatment. But, you know, Stephanie McMahon got slapped, and eventually we're going to get Brie versus Stephanie, which is, if you remember way back in the day to when Trish Stratus was relatively new, and Stephanie McMahon was, you know, the $1 billion princess, and they had a match. It wasn't 5 stars, but it was way better than it deserved to be, considering that Trish Stratus was new, and Stephanie McMahon's not a wrestler. I can see the same thing happening now. I can see the same thing developing between Brie and Stephanie McMahon, if her hubby, the little goat-faced moron, would get out of the way. But he's the champion. He's going to be the champion forever and keep all the marks happy. And we're never going to see a world title match again, according to this segment. Oh, yes. John Cena defeated Bray Wyatt, and I'm okay with that. What? 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 Yeah, I still hate John Cena, don't get me wrong. But, yeah, I like Bray Wyatt. There's nothing wrong with that. This loss will help Bray Wyatt. Half of Bray Wyatt's popularity right now is the fact that he's facing Cena, and the fact that we don't like Cena. And all the rage that all of us felt, when that final 10 count went down in the stupid box and whatever, was because it's another John Cena fucked up, screwy, handed over victory. Now, is that victory going to do anything for John Cena? No, it's going to do fantastic things for Bray Wyatt. Again, I'm going to go to the Daniel Bryan situation. The Daniel Bryan-Sheamus match at WrestleMania, the 18 seconds for the title. Yeah, let's have Sheamus dispense of Daniel Bryan in no short order, and he'll be over like Rover. No. He had a bullshit victory over Daniel Bryan, and it made people hate him. John Cena got a bullshit victory over Bray Wyatt, and it's going to make people hate him more, which means the movement is going to move forward. More people are going to follow the buzzards. More people are going to sit there with their cell phones in the crowd, like they did at Payback, and just light up the entire arena. More people are going to sing along with Bray Wyatt when he sings He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. And you know what? Other than the shitty finish, this match was fantastic. And I will be unbiased, unlike most people, and I will say, John Cena put in his fair share in this match. I will not say that he turned into a 5-star classic overnight, but for a match like this, John Cena, if you're going to use him, I'm going to say the same thing as I say about Sheamus. If you're going to use him in matches like this. In matches like this, you can hide the fact that he sucks as a wrestler. Have him hit people with chairs. Have him throw the spot with the steps. The spot with the steps. It's not a great grand new thing, but when he tossed the steps from inside the ring to outside the ring and plastered Bray Wyatt in the face, it worked because he threw them properly, I guess you could say, and Bray Wyatt took the shot properly. It was fan-fucking-tastic. The AA at the end, through the box that was obviously like plywood, was nothing. It was a shitty finish, but as I said, that's only going to help Bray Wyatt down the line. Bray Wyatt will get the Daniel Bryan treatment from the crowd, and if there's one thing that I can say positive about this new Daniel Bryan treatment, is that it's not Daniel Bryan only that's getting it, which is fantastic. Cesaro got it when he wasn't winning. Bad News Barrett got a little bit of it when he wasn't winning and before he was Bad News. Bray Wyatt will get it as long as he's getting fucked over victories like that. If John Cena got a convincing victory in the ring, after all the things we saw go down in this match, he hit an AA in the ring and Bray Wyatt just didn't get up, that would be weak sauce. That would be absolutely weak. But they had an incredibly fake-looking spot. He put him through one cardboard box, put the other cardboard box on top, and walked away like Superman. That's the kind of victory for Cena that is going to throw all the weight of the crowd behind Bray Wyatt. And the next time, when he does win, it'll be fine. I also like the... It wasn't your typical last man standing match. It was, for all intents and purposes, a six-man match because the Wyatt family was there and the Usos were there. Usos did their part for sure. One of them doing the Rikishi ass bump to one of the Wyatts through the sideways table looked great. Luke Harper superplexing one of them off the top turnbuckle through the two tables on the outside looked fantastic. There were a lot of good spots in this. I like oh, what the hell did they call it? The crossbody that Bray Wyatt does that literally takes people out. I think they call it the whiplash crossbody. When he whiplash crossbodied John Cena through the barricade, it looked like it hurt both of them, and that's the kind of thing that you need in a match like this. This is that quintessential, oh, he's going to do a suplex off the top. They're both hurting. Is he willing to hurt himself to hurt his opponent? That is the kind of spot that this was, because if John Cena's going like this and you're going through him like this, you're going to hit your legs and your head on the barricade or the ring or the post or whatever that you're putting him through. But it proves that Bray Wyatt is so intent on hurting John Cena that he's willing to put his own body on the line. And we got a little bit of that from John Cena. As much as I can't stand John Cena, he gave us some of that in this match. So James, I know you're listening right now, buddy. I'm going to give your boy props in this match because he did put in his fair share. What I would love to see come out of this, honestly, not that it would happen. Not that I think it's going to happen at all, but I would love to see one more six-man tag between the Wyatts and Cena and the Usos put John Cena's career and the tag team championships on the line. They're not going to do it, but it would be cool. I mean, if the Wyatts became tag team champions and Bray Wyatt could call, say for a month or so, say that he was the one that got John Cena out of the WWE, bam, all three of them are made over like Rover for life. Paige versus Alicia Fox was a good match. I like what they've done with Alicia Fox's character, her doing the whole crazy thing, and it's not a typical crazy thing. It's not like she's over-celebrating like heel Daniel Bryan did when he won, and it's not like she's only throwing temper tantrums like old-school Christian when he lost. She is freaking out no matter what happens, and that adds a different thing. She's amusing. She's got all the commentators saying that they're scared of her, which is kind of funny. Good match overall. I like the fact that they're not booking Paige like Superwoman. If she goes in there, she gets her ass kicked for a little while. She does come back and fight back and start reversing things. And her finisher, it is the Scorpion Crosslock, but they are calling it now the PTO. PTO, the Paige Tap Out. Paige Tap Out sounds lame, but just calling it a PTO is like calling it an RKO. It's just, it is what it is. It doesn't matter what it stands for anymore. It's like a DDT. It's like an STF. It's like an STFU. Great match. Alicia Fox has popped up out of nowhere and become a very, very strong force in the Divas division. And everybody right now that's saying, oh my god, she's not as good as the Divas in NXT. Well, Paige is one of the divas that came up from NXT, and oh yes, Paige just won. Oh yes, so put her up against Charlotte and Natty, who is beyond irrelevant at this point. Any day of the week, I would love to see it. The Shield versus Evolution. They killed each other. I don't even have to say anything about this match. Everybody chanting Blue Tista because he basically came out looking like Mega Man was fantastic. The fact that Blue Tista was trending worldwide at #1 during this match amuses the hell out of me. It kind of sucks that the Shield stopped coming out to the ring in those skeletal masks. I thought that was a really nice touch, and maybe, just maybe, that was something for WrestleMania that they wanted to taper off, and maybe that's the reason behind it, and I don't mind that at all. And I'm losing my voice, clearly. But the match was great. Rollins, friggin', with his spot off the stage was great. Dean Ambrose with his spot across the tables and from the ring into the tables were fantastic. Reigns went in there, did the power guy stuff with the Superman punches and the spears and all that sort of thing. I like the fact, especially when you know that Evolution isn't going to be Evolution very much longer, I like that they got the clean sweep. I really, really do. everybody complained that Evolution came back. Oh, look at these old farts, these guys that are beyond irrelevant. They're coming to steal the spotlight. What spotlight have they stolen? Really? I mean, Triple H, Randy Orton, and Batista all jobbed to your boy Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. And then at Extreme Rules, they lost to the Shield in a convincing fashion. And here, in an even more convincing fashion when they fell one by one. All the young guys are getting a spot, all the old guys are sort of laying back. This, and what I love. I will say that I love the way WWE dealt with the CM Punk chance, because you knew it was going to happen. It was in Chicago. Paul Heyman referencing the fact that, oh, I'm sorry, that Paul Heyman guy isn't here. He's across the way watching the Blackhawks game, watching them lose their winning streak, just like my client Brock Lesnar beat The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania, and just like my client here, Cesaro won the inaugural Andre the Giant 30-man over the top rope battle royal at WrestleMania, and then he went on to his match, and it was fine. So they got their jab in, and it was fine. And then Stephanie and McMahon, when everybody started chanting yes and started chanting CM Punk, said to Daniel Bryan, see, look, they want you to quit, just like CM Punk. I have no problem with that. I am a big supporter of, I don't believe 100% that CM Punk's never, he's retired for now, fine, whatever, it is what it is. I'm not holding my breath for him or for AJ at this point, to be completely honest with you, because if he's done and they just got married, you can't blame her if she wants to go stand by her man. I respect the hell out of both of them as talents, but if she wants to stick by him and his decision to retire and she wants to go with him, I have no problem with that whatsoever. We have Paige now. We can move forward in the Divas division without AJ if that needs to be the case. Why? There we go. But I will always hold out a little bit of hope that they are coming back. And the CM Punk chants, which people don't seem to realize, what people don't seem to realize is that they're not chanting CM Punk, or at least when I chant CM Punk, I'm not chanting CM Punk because I think it's going to make him come back. I'm chanting CM Punk as a message to the WWE. You had a great guy. You fucked up, and now he's gone. You've got other, great guys. Don't fuck them up so that they go the way of CM Punk. That's what I mean. I'm going to a house show. I'm going to a WWE house show at the Rico in July. I'm taking one of my buddies with me. And I am going to chant CM Punk at that house show. And that is what my chant means. Whatever you marks want to think that it means, that's what it means. You fucked up CM Punk. Get your shit together before you fuck up somebody else. What I don't like is all the people and all the Deluxe-mans of the world that are so butthurt that they didn't get to see their buddy tonight because he's got a neck like a slinky at the moment, that their only retort is to devalue CM Punk and troll CM Punk fans in their reviews. That is sad. That is just sad. This show, even though it didn't have Daniel Bryan on it, was a fantastic fucking show. And if that puts me in the minority, cool. I've been there before. If that puts me on the Lonely Island, hey, Lonely Island is a great band. They've got some funny songs. I don't mind being on the Lonely Island. But you know what? This show was a fantastic show. If WWE can give me a show where Sheamus and John Cena walked away with bullshit victories and I still enjoyed the show because I put my bias aside, oh yes, then it was a good fucking show. Anyways, I'll be back. I'm probably going to record my Raw review sometime later today, maybe tomorrow-ish. Today being Tuesday, tomorrow being Wednesday. This will be up in whatever form by Thursday at the latest, I hope. Best laid plans, right? Anyways, I'm really, really curious. Even if you didn't like Payback, what do you think of what I've had to say? What did you think of Payback? What do you think they could have done better? What do you think they could have done worse? What do you agree with? What do you agree with what WWE did on this show? Because like I said, in the long run, everything they did has a long-term plan behind it, or at least has a potential for a long-term plan behind it. Let me know what you think. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all of these conversations going. Don't forget to go back and add to my next Q&A. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye. And we are back. Once again, it is your buddy, your pal, Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality to Check, to tell you why Raw didn't suck. I I don't have a ridiculous amount of notes. I have point forms over here so that I roughly know what I want to talk about, because I've already heard everybody's bitchings, and really more than give a Raw review, because I'll tell you right now that I thought Raw was absolutely great. I'm going to disallow or devalue everybody that has shit on this show because it is petty, and once again it is, oh, the guy I wanted to win didn't win, or the guy that I hate won, or Daniel Bryan wasn't on the show so it sucked. It's just, and I've been there, guys. I've been there. Jeff Hardy didn't win. Oh, the match sucked. Oh, Cena won. Automatically the match sucked. Oh, you know, CM Punk's not on the show anymore. Edge just retired. He's not on the show anymore. Automatically the show sucked because I get it. It's a knee-jerk reaction. You're angry. You're pissed off. You're frustrated. Whatever. Your boy has a slinky for a neck. So now obviously nothing else can happen good for anybody else in the meantime because it's not your boy. I understand, even though, like I said, it's petty, it's ridiculous, and it is what it is. We start off the show with Evolution coming out. Triple H still trying to be cocky despite the circumstances. You know, once again, in a long list of people that have quoted The Dark Knight recently, comes out. It's always darkest before the dawn, and you guys think you've won, but you really haven't. I'm really the one playing the game, and next time, da-da-da-da-da. Batista pipes up. You know, Blue Tista from the night before pipes up and says, you know what, I'm done with the Shield. I've had enough of this. This is bullcrap, whatever. This isn't what I was promised. He was promised a world title shot. He can't have a world title shot because there's no champion. Thank you, Daniel Bryan. So he quits instead. And everybody's like, oh, this is just cheap. This is whatever, whatever, whatever. Because, you know, Batista's moving on to go promote his movie and whatnot. But storyline-wise, for those of you that are bitching about continuity in a story, the entire... as much good as Evolution has done, and I have loved Evolution being back, so I've forgiven this all the way along, the reformation of Evolution didn't make any sense, did it? Because you've got Batista and Randy Orton, who are both in the running for the world title going into WrestleMania. They both lost. They both got made to look quite the fool by the goat face, and all of a sudden, under the tutelage of Triple H, they're all best buddies again. They're all on the same page. They already have the same goals, which means not only did Randy Orton never get his rematch, and never bitch about, Batista, who won the Royal Rumble, who should have had his one-on-one shot at WrestleMania, never got it. Thanks again, Daniel Bryan. So, apparently, we're led to believe that Triple H has made him all these promises and aforementioned things. You're going to get this, you're going to get that, you're going to get money and power and title shots, and he hasn't gotten them, and he hasn't gotten them, and he hasn't gotten them, and we're now 2 and a bit months out from WrestleMania, and he still hasn't gotten them, and basically his entire existence, along with Randy Orton, has been to bolster the ego of Triple H, which has been attacked by the Shield. I'm the boss. How dare you go against me? These are my boys. We're going to take you out. Now, that doesn't really allow Orton or Batista to look like they're standing out on their own 2 feet, does it? And if I was Batista, say what you will about Batista, but if you follow that storyline, I'd be sick of it too. I made this big, glorious, grandiose comeback, and Triple H even gave me a big, glorious, and grandiose introduction when I came back, and I said I was here for one reason. I was here to take those belts, and it never happened, did it? And it would make less sense if he wasn't pissed off about that. So yes, Batista, although in actuality he's leaving to go do his movie, the character Batista being pissed off about, you know, going towards Triple H's means instead of his own and leaving makes perfect fucking sense. Oh yes. Then we have the U.S. Champion and the U.S. Champion Sheamus and Rob Van Dam defeating the Intercontinental Champion Bad News Barrett and Cesaro. Now, Cesaro being out there obviously is awesome. Bad News Barrett and him being in a team is fantastic. Paul Heyman on commentary is gold. And people are bitching. Oh, well, Sheamus and Rob Van Dam won, so it must not have been a good match. The guys that look like bomb here are the heels. The babyfaces win in the end in a 2-on-1 situation. Winning 2-on-1 isn't very effective, is it? Cesaro walked out on Bad News Barrett, showing that of the bad guys, he's the baddest guy on the block, so to speak. Barrett doesn't look bad because he got double-teamed by the faces, and the faces do look bad for having to double-team the heel. Everybody wins in this scenario, and as I said in the payback portion of this video, as long as you have Sheamus, Bad News Barrett, and Cesaro all sort of working in the same fields, any combination of those 3 guys is going to be an amazing brawl. I mean, with Cesaro, you do have the technical aspect of it as well, but with the other two, you got the bare knuckle brawler and you've got the Belfast. Why is my phone doing things and stuff? Stop it. Stop it right now. I'm going to do one of those, and we're not going to be interrupted again. If you got the Belfast brawler and the bare knuckle boxer, you're always going to have a good brawl. They have a good brawl with Cesaro, but Cesaro can also do the technical aspect of it, and he's got power for days. You get, why really, just why? Take Rob Van Dam out of the equation, like I said before, put them in a triple threat match to unify the mid-card belts. I will be a happy kid. Put them on Cesaro, put them on Bad News Barrett, one or the other. Get Sheamus out of the equation and have Cesaro and Barrett have a feud. It'll be great. You know, if they let me write things for a day or two, I could do a whole lot better than Ashton. I know that much for damn sure. Big Show knocked out Damien Sandow, and this is the burial of Damien Sandow. Well, all the goofy multiple personality stuff that Damien Sandow is doing right now is doing a lot better than when he was doing his gimmick of the intellectual, there we go, because I'm special. The intellectual savior of the masses bit had him as a jobber, and at least this is somewhat entertaining. They've played it off the way that I don't like what they're doing with him. I don't like that he's going out and doing all this goofy stuff, but I like the underlay of it. The underlay of him having this sudden crisis of identity was caused by him being so frustrated that WWE wasn't giving him his due and his time that he has snapped, and he's going out sarcastically to do all these goofball things because that's what you have to do to get attention in the WWE. I've been handcuffed. I have to do this goofy stuff. Isn't this what makes you happy? Isn't this what gets me TV time? So yes, the stuff that he's doing is goofy. The reason behind it is fucking brilliant. The involvement of the Big Show tonight was... It's the Big Show. What do you want? He's going to come out there. Like I've said a million times, it's very easy to be the Big Show. All you have to do to be the Big Show is show up and be big, and that's what he did. Damien Sandow came out tonight dressed like some old basketball player from whatever city they were in, and did a little preview of his basketball skills. They had a net set up in the one side of the ring, and it was corny, and it was designed to be corny, which is why I can forgive it 110%. Big Show came out for the feel-good moment of the night, knocked out the guy that was mocking the city that they were in. You know, cheap heat squasher. It was, what, a 5-minute segment? It didn't really take away anything from the show, guys. Come on, seriously. We have Stephanie McMahon coming out to address the WWE World Heavyweight Championship situation. He came out, she came out, belittled Daniel Bryan, said, oh, he's a coward, he's hiding behind his wife, this, that, and the next thing. I should have fired Brie weeks ago. If any of you had done what she did to me, you would have been fired weeks ago. And she talks about the slap and talks about, you know, basically puts down Brie Bella, and then announces that at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, here's the kicker, and this is what I love. Either she's going to make Daniel Bryan have a stretcher match with Kane, the Demon Kane, which is kind of, they're really pushing that a little bit too much. I will give you that much. I will give you that much. If you want to nitpick at this show, nitpick on a little tiny thing like they're pushing the Demon too much. I will give you that. I'll give you that, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it's a good show. How about that? They're pushing the Demon Kane into a stretcher match against Daniel Bryan. Now, if Daniel Bryan is unable to compete, he will be stripped from the championship, and the Money in the Bank ladder match will not be a Money in the Bank ladder match. It will, in fact, be a multi-person ladder match for the vacant WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I like that, because Daniel Bryan's decision at Payback to not give up his title is fucking ridiculous. If he gets to hold on to the belt and do nothing to earn it until he's well again, that means we have no title matches, no title storylines going until, what, 3 or 4 months from now? So for 3 or 4 months, WWE's not going to have a champion? Way to be selfish, Daniel Bryan, and way to be selfish, Daniel Bryan fans. Meh. But John Cena comes out, and I will admit, and... see, this is how much you know I can't stand other things when I'm finding John Cena quite tolerable. He had a tremendous promo with Stephanie McMahon tonight, and he talks about what it takes to be a champion, what it takes to be a fighting champion, how many times he's been champion, obviously, and just, you know, Stephanie's been horrible, the things she's doing to Daniel Bryan are horrible. He, right now, as much as you all can't stand John Cena, he is mooching off of the excess attention you guys are all giving Daniel Bryan, and it's WWE is using it to make him look good. So you, whether you realize it or not, for going and clinging so hard to Daniel Bryan. You've all been indoctrinated by the WWE as honorary members of the C Nation. How does that feel? Oh yes. Stephanie doesn't like it, obviously. Sets him up with this big revenge match. You're speaking bad to me. You can have some action tonight. You had your little last man standing match last night, but if you're the champion, you say you are, you shouldn't have any problem with this. And she uses Kane once again as her blunt instrument and says, you have a match with Kane right now, which is great because it shows continuity and it shows that Daniel Bryan's not the only victim of the Authority. It happened to Kofi last night. It happened to John Cena tonight. It'll happen to Daniel Bryan when he comes back. It means it happens to everybody. It means the Authority are being dicks to everybody, and even they are not as focused on Daniel Bryan as you guys are. John Cena has a match. Kane kicks the ever-loving crap out of him, which makes me smile. Kane gets disqualified. Cena gets the win, and yes, Cena Superman's at the end. I mean, it is what it is. It's John Cena. Do I like it? No, but it's Kane, and Kane has been there forever. Kane's been there longer than John Cena, so if he can't stand a John Cena burial, then it's time for him to go. Is it not? Los Matadors versus 3MB had a good match. I said this again in the Payback thing. The whole El Torito versus Hornswoggle thing has given these guys that would not usually have any time on TV some TV time to show that the good wrestling that they can actually do. Hornswoggle, with his head shaves, comes out with an afro with a pick in it and all that. Ultimately, Los Matadors get the win when Los Matadors and El Torito steal the wig off of Hornswoggle. It causes a distraction, and Los Matadors get the win. Again, they're the baby faces. It's another one of those feel-good things. It does two things. It lets 5 guys that don't usually get time on the show have a match on the show and show what they can do, and it progresses the actual story that is here. Now, let me be clear on that. It progresses the story that this segment is supposed to progress. Now, Hornswoggle and El Torito is not a story necessarily that you might care about, but it does progress the story nonetheless. It does not mean, because it's a story that you may not particularly be interested in, that I'm not going to give credit for them for progressing the storyline. Does that make sense? They can progress a storyline that you don't like, and they've still shown good story progression. That's what I'm trying to say. There we go. Continuing once again with the Daniel Bryan theme, and if you talk back to the Authority, or if you're associated with Daniel Bryan, or both, you're going to get punished. We have a match, a handicap match. Alicia Fox and Oksana beat the crap out of Nikki Bella, and it's all good. Oksana is kind of useless. Really, this is just the Authority letting Alicia Fox loose on Nikki Bella. It allows her to continue her crazy gimmick. It allows Nikki Bella to be another stand-in if you're aligned with Daniel Bryan, or if you speak against the Authority. This is what happens to you. More build towards the Daniel Bryan story. So now let's look into this. Let's look at all the people that are putting all their efforts into the Daniel Bryan story, even though he's not even there. Stephanie McMahon, The Authority, Kane, John Cena, the Bella Twins. Need I go on? All these people are struggling and giving up their own storylines to make your boy Daniel Bryan relevant when he's not even there because he's a slinky. Moving on. Adam Rose defeated Jack Swagger in a fun match, and the whole Adam Rose Jack Swagger thing is kind of cool, and I've been struggling because this works. And you know, Adam Rose is just a comedy guy. He's a fun guy. He's a new guy to the roster, and Jack Swagger's never anybody I've given that much of a crap about as an individual thing. But he and Zeb Coulter, I think I found out why I like this and why this works so well. He is kind of like Zeb Coulter's soldier trying to say what an American should be. They even called Zeb Coulter General Coulter on Raw. So they are taking a very military stance as to how things should be. And Adam Rose is the complete opposite of that. Adam Rose, if anything, if the cliche fits, use it. Adam Rose is basically the hippie in this situation. So anybody who's ever seen the old, like, history, you know, anybody that's ever gone on the History Network or whatever, seen, like, famous photos of hippies standing up to guys about to go to war, and they, you know, they stick the flower in the end of the gun and then they get blown away because they're in the way. This is the ultimate thing. He's the peace-loving, fun-loving, let's have a party guy versus, you know, JBL and Michael Cole tonight compared to compared Coulter and Swagger to the movie Grumpy Old Men. The contrast works, but they've got, even though it's not a Sergeant Slaughter military type character, they have that militant attitude. So for Adam Rose to come in with the sort of hippie party, let's all have a good time, it's the perfect foil for Jack Swagger, and it's the perfect foil to make me want to pay attention to Jack Swagger. So Adam Rose is doing a pretty damn good thing, because Jack Swagger has been around for how long, and I have not given one single fuck individually about Jack Swagger in how long? I can remember not giving a shit about Jack Swagger when he was the WWE CW champion. They tried to team him up with Ziggler, and that didn't work. They tried to team him up with Cesaro, and that didn't work. They teamed him up with Zeb Coulter, and people give a damn about Zeb Coulter, but they don't give a damn about Jack Swagger. This rivalry is a little bit different. It's making me take a good hard look at Jack Swagger, and I like that. If you can prove me wrong about somebody that I've already given up on, you've done something. And in this case, Adam Rose has done something, and he's not bad in his own right either. Luke Harper and Eric Rowan defeated the tag team champions, the Usos. Now, this is great. This is wonderful, because Luke Harper cut a promo. Luke Harper, with Eric Rowan by his side, cut their own promo before this match started tonight, because Bray Wyatt wasn't there. Why do I like that? Because Bray Wyatt's not there. He was destroyed by the all-powerful golden god, John Cena. So he's there. He's away selling whatever John Cena did to him the previous night, which is great. It makes John Cena look good. Not that he needs it, but on Bray Wyatt's behalf, I guess it's a good sell job for him that he wasn't there. And it allows his acolytes, his followers, his, disciples, whatever you want to call it, to stand up and say, he's not here, but we're going to do this for him. We're going to do this in honor of him. It shows their bond. They even brought the rocking chair out to the ring, even though he wasn't there, and they looked to the rocking chair every now and then, even though he wasn't there, because it's that instinctual. They turn to him instinctually. And they have, who helped put Bray Wyatt out of action, or perceivably out of action, because he wasn't there tonight. It was John Cena, but it was also the Usos. So they went out there and took a hide off the Usos, which means, and they won too, which means in no short order that they will be getting a tag team title shot very soon. Bray Wyatt not being there also took away any argument that anybody, face or heel, could have had as, oh, the Wyatts had the numbers advantage. No, they look strong. They destroyed the Usos. It is what it is. Alberto Del Rio defeated Dolph Ziggler in our very first Money in the Bank qualifying match. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets very interesting, because there's only one Money in the Bank this year. There's only one Money in the Bank this year, and it could end up being for the title instead of the briefcase. So these qualifying matches are very important. Now, everybody's bitching, and yes, one person in specific that I'm thinking of is bitching that Ziggler didn't win. Oh, Ziggler's being mistreated again. But Ziggler sell jobs like crazy, and Alberto Del Rio is a great wrestler as well, as much as most people don't want to admit it. So he is in Money in the Bank. Both of them are already lending credence to the Money in the Bank match, because both of them have won it. Alberto Del Rio being in the match lends credence to the match, because he's already won a match like that. Alberto Del Rio defeating Dolph Ziggler, who has also won a match like this, lends credence to him and the match. And there's nothing to say down the line that they're not going to qualify like 5 guys and have the 5 losers of those matches have a last chance battle royal like they did a couple of years ago, and Ziggler couldn't win and still be in the match. So don't get your panties in a wad. This was only the first qualifying match, and Ziggler could still be in the match. You don't know. Del Rio being the first one officially into that match for Money in the Bank, fantastic. If it means we're going to put some gold on Alberto Del Rio, then maybe it's his destiny. Oh yes. We saw the demise of the Rhodes Brothers tag team at Payback. Cody Rhodes basically walking away and saying, hey, brother to brother, you need to find a better tag team partner. Tonight, they've gone into it with the knowledge of Cody Rhodes wants to support his brother. He's going to help him pick a new partner. Ryback versus Goldust and this mystery partner, which turned out to be Sin Cara, which is an interesting place to put Sin Cara in, because Sin Cara really doesn't have anything else to do. Sin Cara came out in yellow attire to match Goldust. I like that. Continuity is fantastic. The teamwork wasn't completely there, which makes sense because they're a brand new team, and they got destroyed because it's a team versus 2 guys that are teaming for the first time. They got destroyed. Now, they could go one of 2 directions with this. They could keep having Cody Rhodes pick more and more and more partners that don't work out, and then it comes out that Cody Rhodes was purposely picking bad partners for his brother so that his brother would keep failing. They would go have a match. Eventually, somewhere down the road, the brother versus brother, it sells itself. Or they could have Cody Rhodes legitimately try to find Goldust new partners, have those partners not work out, have Goldust get pissed off about it, and berate his brother, have Goldust be the heel, Cody Rhodes be the face. They still go on later on down the line to do brother versus brother. So this is the beginning of something that could be brilliant if they let it go properly. Rusev had a ceremony with Lana and a bunch of random Russian guys in suits, naming him a hero of the Russian Federation Embassy Gold Star Medal Celebration thing. Now, everybody says, well, certain people say anyway, well, this thing didn't make any sense. Who cares about this? Nobody cares about this. We live in the States. Da-da-da-da-da. Newsflash? That's exactly why they did it, to get exactly that response. So, on behalf of WWE, I'd like to thank you for giving the response you were supposed to give. On the other half of the coin, oh, it's really, really stupid, no babyfaces interrupted this. Well, why would a babyface interrupt this? Now think about that logically. They're not doing anything wrong. They're not hurting anybody. They're not attacking somebody. They're not cheating in a match. They are basically patting themselves on the back, which is relatively harmless. You know, freedom of speech and all that sort of thing. Now, in reality, if somebody we know moved from France to the States as an ambassador, representatives from France wanted to come to the States to present that guy with an award, and that award got attacked by the police or whatever, the police would be the ones in trouble because there's nothing wrong with what's going on. It's, you know, people from the same place patting themselves on the back. The most you could say is it's a bit annoying because they're taking up a little bit of time on your TV screen, but it's supposed to be annoying because they're heels. Now, there was nothing done here, nothing triggering, nothing violent, nothing, you know, nobody was assaulted, nobody was attacked with a weapon or whatever. They just did it, and it was over. So there's no reason for a babyface who's a true babyface to do anything. Now, if it was a babyface like John Cena who wanted to go out there and make himself look good and, you know, USA, USA, get the cheap pop, then yeah, sure. Obliterate this. Go against logic completely and have a babyface interrupt a happy moment. And the other thing that people have said is, oh, who wants to see a big grandiose celebration like that for somebody that doesn't deserve it, blah, 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 and it's a heel, and who wants to see confetti falling down on a heel? Let me flash back to every single time Alberto Del Rio won the WWE Championship. It's not like it's a new thing. And then we had the final match of the evening, or we didn't have the final match of the evening. It was booked to be Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton, because Randy Orton in a backstage segment said, Batista's gone, he couldn't take the heat, he got out of the kitchen, he took his ball and went home. I'm going to show my allegiance to Triple H and the Authority. I'm going to show that I am still the true face of this company, and I'm going to take on Roman Reigns tonight. The Shield comes down. They cut, all three of them cut a great promo on defeating the Evolution last night. Now, Orton and Triple H come down, Triple H with a sledgehammer over his shoulder, still to the Evolution music, which is a key in some context, or it's a little bit of a hint in some context, because you think, oh, Evolution is no more because Batista's not there anymore. Now, a side note, the Evolution we got in 2014 wasn't True Evolution anyways, because True Evolution was Triple H, Batista, Randy Orton, and Ric Flair. So we already had a neutered Evolution to begin with. So now, kayfabe-wise or storyline-wise, they would like you to believe, oh, Batista's not there anymore, Evolution's done for. Randy Orton and Triple H still come down to Evolution's music. Triple H still with a calm smile on his face, saying, you know what? You guys won last night. You're right, you defeated us. Last night was plan A. I adapt so that I don't perish. I always have a plan B. And while he's saying all this, Rollins slips out of the ring, grabs a chair, staring down Evolution, turns the chair on his partners, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, obliterates them with a chair, walks out very solemnly, very quietly, hands the chair over to Randy Orton to finish the job. Rollins does the curb stomp to Ambrose onto the chair, then takes the chair outside. Orton comes in, finishes off Reigns, and he gives him an RKO on the same chair. And you go off with the new Evolution, arm in arm like this. Triple H with the largest Cheshire shit-eating grin on his face. Orton here, Rollins here. Here's Evolution 2014, and the Shield has been decimated. Tell me that this hasn't blown up the internet. Tell me that we haven't had every single bit of storyline progression we could possibly get with the current existing WWE product. Tell me that everybody in the WWE is not one way or another pandering to the absent Daniel Bryan story. Payback was great. Raw was great. And Deluxe Man and all the other butthurts out there just need to deal with it. I've been Spaz, and I am your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going, keep adding to my Q&A. Don't be a stranger, I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.